I think I speak for the whole of the internet when I say that we know Joji from Filthy Frank, but it's gotten to the point that a large percentage of Joji's fanbase don't know about his past. And these fans are only just discovering where he came from and what made him who he is today. I haven't expressed this on my channel before, but I firmly believe that Filthy Frank is the greatest YouTuber of all time. When it comes to uniqueness and pioneering a scene, few has had the impact not only on YouTube, but on the internet as a whole like Filthy Frank has. But even as Filthy Frank fans and acknowledging George's change from Filthy Frank to Joji, no one expected the amount of mainstream success Joji would have as a musician. And that leads us to the controversy. Now, a few days ago on Twitter, a certain user found out about Joji's past as Filthy Frank. She found out that Joji said the N-word with a hard R many years ago, which was obviously during the Filthy Frank days, and while many people said that she's only one person, this isn't anything new, the response said otherwise, as there was many other people who were in a similar position as her, only just finding out about Joji's dark past. And now this is the post. Joji literally having a song where he says the N-word with the hard R, like you can't be serious. Now, whether you believe that someone that isn't black can say the N-word is another debate for another day, and while I like to believe that we all agree that saying the N-word is wrong, the context is very important here when you need to talk about the Filthy Frank character and the context in which it was used. Filthy Frank used it in a joking manner and it wasn't derogatory towards black people or used in a malicious way, but people seem to think that just because he said it, he should have his career ruined. But this is exactly why he has distanced himself from the Filthy Frank character, because he has said in multiple interviews and his now infamous deleted exposing video that this is a thing of the past and he wants to move on from this Filthy Frank character and start a new chapter in his life. But what I find funniest about this whole situation is that the person that's trying to cancel Joji ends up getting cancelled herself because she responds in a racist manner to someone in the comments. I mean, you just can't write this shit, can you? Now, this thread has been deleted and it has been hard for me to find, so all that I have is a few surviving screenshots from the apocalypse that happened just a few days ago, and this is really where it all kicked off in the comments. The same person that posted the thread ends up going in the comments and saying this: "Don't come in my mentions talking about it's just satire, y'all can't take a joke these days. Man, I don't give a fuck, this shit isn't funny at all, so get the fuck out of here with that. And for you non-blacks coming into my mentions, just get the hell out, you don't get a say in what I find offensive." To which someone called Jay Picante responds, which ends up kicking off this whole racial tirade in the comments. As a black person, my view is that his lyrics are contextual to the character he was portraying. Rather not hear it, but I'm not mad nor willing to cancel him. And that seems like a very level-headed response, and he's not going too over the top with his reaction. To which the original poster responded with this. Now, I'm not going to say it for obvious reasons, but I'm going to show it on the screen so you know what she said. It's one word, but it just kicked off a whole wave of new drama. And after that, she changed her name and privated her account. But the good old internet detectives were not done yet, and they managed to find out her new account and her new Twitter handle. Now I'm going to show her new Twitter handle on the screen. Don't go over to her and send hate. I mean, you can if you want, I can't really stop you, but I wouldn't recommend it because she's probably getting enough hate as it is, even though she is a racist. Now, all Joji fans aren't racist obviously, but a large portion of their fanbase don't know where Joji came from, and he originally started on the internet as Filthy Frank. Now, I don't blame them for getting mad and feeling like they have been deceived, because that type of humour and content by Filthy Frank on YouTube in around the mid-2010s at like 2015 and 2016 at his peak, that would not fly nowadays, and it is heavily criticised because if anyone went on the website and tried to make edgy humour, they'd get cancelled straight away. Just ask Monkey Jones. Now, the reason why this is so discerning to many Joji fans is because there is a big parallel between these two characters. On one hand, you have the really edgy, racist, disgusting Filthy Frank, and on the other, you have a really mellow, low, sort of depressed Joji. There's just very little comparison between the two people. And like I mentioned earlier with context, Filthy Frank isn't Joji or Filthy Frank isn't George. It clearly says in the Filthy Frank bio that this is an amalgamation of everything that's wrong on the internet and it's not a real person. But again, I can't really blame Joji fans for not knowing this because they didn't know he was Filthy Frank to begin with, so how are they going to know the context behind the Filthy Frank character if they don't already know the character? I don't think anyone expected Joji to have as much success and mainstream appeal as he has had since moving to music, because there are very few YouTubers who have successfully transitioned to music. But the biggest reason in my opinion for this is the name change from Filthy Frank to Joji. And while Filthy Frank and Pink Guy were characters, they were a side to Joyce that he's left behind, with Joji just being another side to him and another endeavour that he is going on, which is why he has been as successful as he is. The name Joji has no negative connotations towards his name or his brand, which is why he hasn't been cancelled yet, but you can absolutely bet if he went by the name Filthy Frank or Pink Guy and tried to make the music he is making now, he would have been cancelled right off the bat. But this is Filthy Frank you're talking about. The Francis of the Filth can never be cancelled. He's like the final boss of cancel culture. He just can't be defeated. And if there was any time to cancel Joji, it would have been right when he made a transition from Filthy Frank to Joji. But that is long gone now, and you definitely missed your chance, because cancel culture wasn't really a big thing back then, or even a thing at all. So no one was thinking of going out their way to cancel Joji. But I'm just going to contradict myself here and say Joji can be cancelled, or at least have his reputation tarnished the bigger he gets. Because even though he has moved on from Filthy Frank, if he still continues to rise like he has, the music industry and the media as a whole will go out their way just to ruin him, because that's just how it is. You've seen with much bigger stars like Kevin Hart how you can have your career majorly damaged just by something you did a few years ago that was maybe stupid or out of taste. Joji fans aren't really fans, they're more stans, so I don't feel like they're going to turn on him. Maybe a few will, but the majority of the internet as a whole, they definitely won't, because we all love Filthy Frank's humour and the type of content he brought to the scene. Nothing like that will fly nowadays, and no one currently right now or since Filthy Frank has made the type of content he has, and the one person who I already said, Monkey Jones, has been cancelled from the platform. But I'm just still surprised at how many Joji fans don't know about Filthy Frank, because when I found Filthy Frank he had around 50k subscribers and he was still growing, and I got to watch his grow from pretty much nobody to one of the biggest stars on the platform. And I still remember people that don't watch YouTube or even Filthy Frank quoting him and watching his infamous hair cake type videos, because he just had that much of an impact on the internet as a whole. People outside of his collective group and outside his fan base were watching him. That's how impactful and how big he was. But if there's one person that you don't want to cancel, it's Filthy Frank. He's not going to get cancelled. Who is going to go out of their way to cancel Filthy Frank unless you are a stan or a K-pop fan who has nothing better to do? No one wants Filthy Frank cancelled. But yeah, that's my take on the situation. I just find it funny how there's a lot of Joji fans who don't know about his past as Filthy Frank and are trying to cancel him over it, when this has been news and been on YouTube for over half a decade. But if you like videos like these, remember to like the video and comment and subscribe if you want to see more videos similar to this one. See you next time.